Did you ever wonder what would have happened if new and old generation anime characters fought each other? Does the new generation stand any chance against the legendary old gen characters? Well, to answer that, I picked the 8 strongest characters from the new generation and 5 from the old gen, and split them into 5 stages. To keep it simple, I'll start by revealing the first stage for both generations, and as the video goes on, I'll slowly keep adding more and more characters, until we finally reach the end, where both generations will fight with their full strength. So for starters, we have Luffy from the old gen on side 1 and Shinra and Deku on the other. Now let's make them go all out right from the start. Luffy with Gear 5, Shinra in his peak form, but not Shinra Shomon, since that's basically a fusion of 3 and that would be cheating here, and Deku with 100% control over All for One. Now, this isn't a one-side beatdown. Luffy does have stamina issues with Gear 5. Shinra's insane speed and precision could wear him down if he avoids getting caught. Deku's analytical mind and team synergy with Shinra could create a combo trap strong enough to knock Luffy out of Gear 5, at least temporarily. But here's the thing, Luffy doesn't just fight with power, he fights with imagination. It's all fun and games until he starts turning the ground into rubber, casually catching attacks like a joke and hitting so hard he bends the sky. Eventually, Shinra and Deku would start struggling once things scale beyond logic, and we're not even talking about Luffy's advanced haki yet. With internal damage from armament haki and crazy future sight from observation haki, landing a clean hit on him would be really difficult for them. His body literally breaks physics. Punches don't land the way they should. Even if Shinra blitzes in, Luffy can twist around the attack like something straight out of Looney Tunes, then flatten him with a comically massive haki-coated fist. Deku might try to land a smash, but Gear 5 Luffy would likely absorb the force, bounce it back like rubber, and counter midair with a spinning gum giant bazooka. So yeah, here, Luffy might just defeat both of them. Now what happens if we add Tanjuro to the stage? Well, now things are really heating up. You see, as a rubber man, Luffy's biggest weakness is sharp objects, like swords. And as we all know, Tanjiro is a master swordsman. So let's make him go all out from the start as well. His Nichiren sword, forged to slay demons, can slice through stone, flesh, and magic-infused monsters alike. And no matter how wild Gear 5 gets, Luffy is still made of rubber. Luffy can still bend reality, but now he's forced to take this trio seriously. One clean slash from Tanjiro's sword can rupture his rubber body, bypassing his usual toughness. If this trio works together well, Deku and Shinra exhausting Luffy's stamina up front, because as we know, Gear 5's biggest weakness is stamina, while Tanjiro waits in the back for the perfect moment to strike. Then, as the fight drags on and Luffy drops back to his normal form, Tanjiro could land that decisive slash and defeat Luffy in this battle. So yeah, this trio might win this one, but the real battle is just about to begin. It's time for Stage 2. This time, we've got Luffy and Ichigo on one side, and Deku, Tanjiro, Shinra, and Asta on the other. But hey, before that, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, what are you waiting for? Go on, click it. Now here, Luffy jumps straight into the fight with Deku and Shinra, since they don't have swords, while Tanjiro and Asta rush toward Ichigo. The battlefield is now split into 2 matchups, Deku and Shinra versus Luffy just like before, and Asta and Tanjiro versus Ichigo on the other side. The moment Asta and Tanjiro approach, they can feel Ichigo's overwhelming spiritual pressure. It's so intense, it feels like gravity is crushing them. Now the big question, can Asta's anti-magic cut through Ichigo's spiritual pressure? Well, not really. See, both anti-magic and spiritual pressure serve as power scalars in their own stories, but they aren't interchangeable in a fight. Asta's anti-magic cancels magical constructs, not soul-based aura, so spiritual pressure stays untouched. For this round, let's say Ichigo is using the same Bankai form he used against Byakuya Kuchiki, and honestly, he'd be having fun. His spiritual pressure alone could knock Tanjiro out of the match. As for Asta, if he can't cut through the pressure, there's no real way for him to win. Even if Tanjiro somehow stays in the fight and both try to attack together, they still don't stand a chance. Ichigo is just that goated. Meanwhile, on the other side, the fight between Luffy versus Deku and Shinra plays out almost the same as before. Luffy defeats them with little to no trouble. Now what if we add Kaiju number 8 to the new gen side? Well, honestly, nothing much changes. If he joins the Deku group, Luffy would still have the upper hand. And if he teams up with the Tanjiro group, let's just say Ichigo is still miles ahead of him. But what if we change the formation a bit? Let's say Deku and Tanjiro go up against Luffy, while Kafka, Shinra, Shinra and Asta take on Ichigo. So, is there now a chance for the new gen to beat the old? Well, not really. In the first scenario, both Deku and Shinra work together to wear down Luffy's stamina, but now it's just Deku, and I think Luffy can handle him without much trouble. As for Tanjiro, the only real threat he possesses is with his sword. If Luffy manages to make him lose it, which, with his Gear 5 imagination and ability to reshape reality, doesn't seem too hard, then the fight tilts even further in Luffy's favor, and once Luffy wraps up his fight, he can easily jump in to help Ichigo. So yeah, to sum it all up, even with the new formation, the old gen still takes the win this round. Okay, but what if we add Gojo to the new gen side next? Well, now the battle takes a seriously interesting turn. This time, Gojo, Asta, and Kaiju number 8 will take on Ichigo, while Tanjiro, Deku, and Shinra go up against Luffy. Yeah, this is going to be one chaotic mess. Right from the start, Gojo activates Infinity, keeping Ichigo's physical slashes at bay. Ichigo's Bankai and spiritual pressure are monstrous, but Gojo's domain level hacks mess with all of that. Backing him up is Kafka, with his sheer monstrous strength, throwing heavy punches like a kaiju should. And then there's Asta. While he still can't cut through spiritual pressure, in his Devil Union plus Zeton form, his speed, power, and durability are off the charts. He's a legit threat and adds serious pressure to the fight. At this point, Ichigo is definitely on the back foot, but then he unleashes his final Bankai form, Tensa Zangetsu, fused with both Hollow and Quincy powers. His speed blitzes Kafka and nearly decapitates Asta, but Gojo's domain expansion hits back hard, pinning Ichigo down. Ichigo barely survives it, and only by unleashing a Mugetsu-like explosion of spiritual energy does he manage to cancel Gojo's domain momentarily. Meanwhile, on the other side of the battlefield, Luffy is up against Deku, Tanjiro, and Shinra, and just like before, this combo proves too much. Luffy gets taken down. Tanjiro's group now joins up with Gojo's, and it becomes a 6v1. Can Ichigo defeat all 6 of them together? Honestly, no. As powerful as Ichigo is, even at this insane level, he just can't take down all of them at once. Everyone's backing up Gojo, and their combined strategy, strength, and abilities are just too overwhelming. And with that said, this round goes to the new gen team. Well, we are not done yet. It's time for the stage 3, where we add Naruto to the mix. Here, Naruto activates Baryon mode right from the start. The formation remains the same as before, Ichigo versus Gojo, Kafka, and Asta, while Luffy goes up against Deku, Shinra, and Tanjiro. But this time, Naruto joins Luffy's side early on, since Luffy was clearly at a disadvantage in the last round. Ichigo, meanwhile, holds off the rest of the new gen trio on his own. Now with Naruto and Luffy teaming up, it's over for Deku, Shinra, and Tanjiro. Why, you ask? Because Naruto's going to spam shadow clones, and Luffy, with his reality-bending Gear 5 imagination, will assist in chaotic and unpredictable ways. Together, they steamroll this group without much effort. Once they're done, Naruto and Luffy regroup with Ichigo, and now it's a 3v3 showdown. Luffy, Ichigo, and Naruto versus Asta, Gojo, and Kafka. First, Luffy alters the battlefield to favor his team, putting the other side at a serious disadvantage. Ichigo takes on Gojo head-to-head, keeping him occupied. Luffy goes after Kafka, while Naruto targets Asta. Asta tries to neutralize Naruto's chakra, but Naruto plays smart, keeping his distance and using clones to wear him down. Once Asta starts getting tired, Naruto finishes him off, especially since Asta's anti-magic can't cancel chakra, like it only works on magic-based constructs. On the other side, Luffy easily overpowers Kafka. His unpredictability and raw power in Gear 5 are just too much for a straightforward brawler like Kafka. And now it's down to a 3v1. Luffy, Ichigo, and Naruto versus Gojo. Even Gojo, arguably the most broken 1v1 character in new gen anime, can't stand against 3 reality warping monsters in sync. His technique hacks push them to the edge, but the synergy, absurd power levels, and pure adaptability of this trio prove too much. Gojo falls, and this round goes to the old gen legends. And now it's time for the stage 4, where we add Saitama to the new gen and Gon to the old. Okay, now this is about to get absolutely chaotic. On the new gen side, we've got Gojo, Saitama, Asta, Kafka, Tanjiro, Shinra, and Deku, while the old gen fields Ichigo, Luffy, Naruto, and Gon. The formations are mostly the same. Naruto jumps in to help Luffy at first, and Ichigo continues to hold off Gojo's team on his own. But this time, there's a whole new fight going down. Saitama versus adult Gon. Now let's talk about Gon. In his adult form, he taps into a level of power comparable to top-tier threats hits in the Hunter x Hunter universe, possibly even rivaling Meruem. He one-shot Pito, a royal guard who previously tanked massive hits and had crazy regeneration. His aura was so overwhelming that Pito, who didn't even flinch during Kite's death, was completely terrified. But on the other side, we've got Saitama, the guy who casually breaks his own limits for fun. Gon lands a punch, and sure, it's devastating in his world, but for Saitama, it doesn't even leave a mark. Even if we assume adult Gon channels every bit of rage and power from the Hunter x Hunter universe, it's just not enough. Meanwhile, Gon couldn't survive even one serious punch from Saitama, not even close. It's a complete mismatch. Gon may be terrifying in his own verse, but when it comes to Saitama, the power ceiling just isn't comparable. So after defeating Gon, Saitama sees Tanjiro's team struggling against Naruto and Luffy, and he steps in. Now this is where things get real. Saitama becomes the main star of the fight, backed up by Tanjiro, Shinra, and Deku. Naruto and Luffy could still bring strategy, versatility, and double-team pressure. With Gear 5's cartoonish unpredictability and Baryon mode's raw speed, they might even catch Saitama off guard for a moment. But here's the thing, none of their attacks can hurt him. No chakra-based jutsu, no haki-coded punches, no spiritual technique barrage. None of them scale to the kind of durability and absurd feats Saitama casually displays. Luffy and Naruto might hit him dozens of times, but once Saitama gets bored or even flicks them seriously, it's over. They're down, and now the tables have completely turned. It's 7v1, the entire new gen against Ichigo. But let's be honest, the real question is, can Ichigo handle Gojo and Saitama at the same time? And truthfully, no, there's no shot. Gojo would keep Ichigo at bay with Infinity or trap him inside his domain. Even if Ichigo somehow blitzes or resists Gojo's techniques, Saitama is still there, untouched, watching. The moment Ichigo starts gaining the upper hand, Saitama steps in. And once that happens, game over. But we're not done yet, because it's time for Goku to enter the battlefield. Now earlier, we had a round between Gon and Saitama, where Gon clearly lost. But what if Goku was there to help him fight Saitama? You see, in his Ultra Instinct form, Goku has literally surpassed the domains of gods, with auto dodge, insane reaction speed, and maximum efficiency in both movement and attacks. He's even outpaced time-manipulating characters like Hit. So what happens now? Gon, let's be honest, still stands no chance against Saitama, so he'd naturally take his support role, right? Well, not exactly, because as we all know, Goku likes to fight fair and square, so he'd want to take on Saitama solo. And now comes the most controversial question of all time. Can Goku defeat Saitama? While Saitama's star-level feats during his fight with Gojo were massive, Goku's consistent power scaling in Dragon Ball places him at a multi-universal level. The destructive power of his attacks and the durability he's shown in return far outclass anything Saitama has demonstrated so far. Goku also has a much wider arsenal: energy projection, teleportation, advanced techniques, and most importantly, Ultra Instinct. Saitama, on the other hand, relies on overwhelming strength and basic brawling. Sure, his limitless potential is a key part of his narrative, but until he shows feats on par with Goku's top-end showings, the edge clearly goes to Goku. And let's not forget, Goku isn't just strong, he's a battle genius, a seasoned martial artist with decades of combat experience. Compared to Saitama's raw, unrefined power, Goku simply has more tools, more power, and more options. So yeah, with everything considered, Goku would win this battle alone, without needing help from anyone else. And as far as the rest of the match, it plays out just like it did in Stage 3, leading to a win for the old gen. And now it's time for the Stage 5, the one that will decide which team wins this battle. But before we go all out, let's bring in the final player of the new gen team, Jin Woo. Now, to be honest, the dynamics of this fight completely shift with Jinwoo in the mix. Why? Because the old gen team now has to deal with over 10 million shadows, all of which can regenerate infinitely, as long as Jinwoo is still alive. So how does this play out? First, if we assume Jinwoo jumps in after all his teammates have been defeated, that means he'll be up against Goku, Ichigo, Naruto, Gon, and Luffy all at the same time. With full Shadow Monarch powers and his entire army, Jin Jinwoo becomes a raid boss level threat. He can solo entire battlefield, clone himself, resist most forms of damage, and overwhelm with sheer numbers. Here, Luffy, Naruto, and Gon would be tasked with fending off the shadows. Though, as we know, not all shadows are as strong as Bellion or Beru. Naruto can bring out his 1,000 clones, which helps. But let's be real, over 10 million shadows? That's no joke. These characters don't have unlimited stamina either, so the smartest strategy is to buy time for Goku and Ichigo to take down Jinwoo directly. Even without his shadows, Jinwoo is terrifying. His stats, regeneration, telekinesis, and speed make him a handful. But Goku's Ultra Instinct, destructive power, and sheer speed allow him to dodge most of Jinwoo's attacks and strike with devastating force. Add Ichigo's spiritual energy attacks and blinding speed, and Jinwoo is put under constant pressure with no real chance to recover. He could try using Monarch's authority to create space, but against two powerhouses, one firing universe-level blasts and the other landing soul-cutting slashes, he'll eventually get overwhelmed. So yeah, in this scenario, Jinwoo might lose. Now what if there is an all-out war? Now this is where things get insane. This time, Jinwoo fights alongside the new gen team. That means Luffy and Naruto aren't just fighting Shinra, Deku, and Tanjuro. They're also dealing with an army of regenerating shadows. Same goes for Ichigo, who now has to face Gojo's team plus more shadows. Meanwhile, Saitama and Goku continue their fight as before, with Goku eventually defeating Saitama. But here's the catch. Ichigo, Naruto, and Luffy all fall to the combined assault of the new gen team and the overwhelming shadow horde. At this point, only Goku and Gon remain against Jinwoo, Gojo, Tanjuro, Shinra, Kafka, Deku, Asta, and the rest of the shadows. And let's be honest, no matter how strong Goku is, he can't take on all of them at once. Even with Gon's help, this battle is too far gone. So in this final all-out war, New Gen takes the win here. Click on this video next, where I gave the perfect power-up every Blue Lock player needs to become the ultimate striker. Go on, check it out.